Good afternoon, Packers fans. Welcome to your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels in the somewhat new area where I'll be doing this on the regular. I'm so disappointed. I had an appointment with a gentleman who was going to come in and hang a bunch of cool audio panels, and it was going to look so dope. It was going to look a lot like our studio in Midtown. And I gave the man my address, and he went to my address in Brooklyn, which is great, other than the fact that I live in Astoria, Queens. So he was not where he needed to be when he needed to be there. So I have cobbled together this background in the meantime. Getting there. We're getting there very slowly, but very surely. I hope you'll stick along despite the lack of phenomenal decor here. Although I will say, I love this piece. This is a article that was in the Green Bay Press Gazette. I want to say about 2010, 2011, when Corey and I were first blush Cheesehead TV coming up, so to speak. And of course, you got the old Lambo blueprints. Can't go wrong with that. And trusty Packers books. And of course, come on now. You know you got to carry the G. Let's go. Let's get ready. Let's get ready for this summer that we're about to embark on. Hope you're all doing well. The Packers have been on the practice field the last couple days. Today was the first day the media got to take a look at what's going on there at Ray Nitschke Field, the first of three media availabilities, media look-ins, if you will, during OTA practices. Obviously, there's never a ton of news, but there's always a lot to talk about. I will say the thing I think I was the most excited about coming out of today was Matt LaFleur, head coach, indicating that there will be not one, but two joint practice sessions during training camp. One leading up to the Ravens game, a joint practice with the Ravens while they are in town, and then another one while they are on the road, they being the Packers, in Denver with the Broncos. And of course, only one practice jointly with the opposing teams, no more than one. Matt indicating you all saw Cincinnati last year. That second day really kind of devolves into a free-for-all, fist fight, etc. Don't want to invite that. Don't want to foster that kind of environment. But I do think it's a good thing. It's a great idea for a team as young as the Packers are looking to be yet again to get practice with other systems, other schemes, other talent. Like, it's just a good idea for, again, a team that needs as much experience prior to the kickoff there in week one in Brazil as it can possibly get. So many different looks, so many different things you can throw at them in a controlled environment. I love it. Like I said, hello to everybody in the comment section. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all gearing up for a fun time following along with the Green Bay Packers during this offseason. As I've told you guys before, I do leave for Europe tomorrow. Wednesday, I fly out to Barcelona with my father. I'm going to be there for 9 days, taking in all sorts of sights and sounds around France, Italy. We're hitting Ibiza for a day, if you can believe that. We're going to a bunch of different places, but I will be back for minicamp because it's mandatory. And I would tell you that I did that on purpose, but who am I kidding? It just happened to fall that way. But yes, the mandatory minicamp, June 11th through the 13th, I will be back in full power, ready to chat about everything that transpires throughout those dates. But in the meantime, this will be the last chat until I get back on June 5th. I arrive back here in the States on the 4th. We'll be back chatting on the 5th. So get your questions in now, folks, is what I'm trying to tell you. Hope you're all doing well. Look at all these people is chiming in. I love it. I do want to give a shout out to our friends over at Ticket King. The schedule is out, people. I was talking to my sister today about family plans around the holidays and what games and or events we might partake in, or where the Packers are playing, when are you working, etc. I'm telling you, Ticket King is a godsend. Go to a link in the description of this video, and you can find tickets for each and every game, home and away, preseason, regular season. It doesn't matter. Check out Ticket King if you need Packers tickets. That is the key, people. And you don't just do it for me. Do it because you want to support a local business. Support a group that has been in Wisconsin since the early 90s. Don't give your money to Ticketmaster or StubHub or SeatGeek. Forget that nonsense. Give it to Ticket King. They're local, they care, and they will help you every step of the way as you try and find the best seats possible for the game you want to go to. Do it, people. That's all I can tell you. What's going on here, folks? How we doing? Look at all these fine folks living and loving up in here. We got people talking about the news coming out today. Yes, a couple of different injuries that, as I talked to Billy earlier this afternoon, if you haven't checked out Carry the G Radio, the podcast, make sure you do so. It seems each and every year you come into, the off-season work, right? And the first time you get the whole group on the field, it's always a couple surprising injuries. And certainly that was the case today with Tucker Kraft and Zach Tom, both dealing with torn pec injuries, torn pectorals. That doesn't sound fun, including, Matt LaFleur's himself suffered a torn pectoral a couple weeks ago. So seems to be catching. And before you make the joke about the new strength and conditioning staff, these all happened away from the facility. Well, Matt's did anyway. So just relax. Everybody, the joke's been made, is all I'm trying to say here. But yes, so apparently, according to LaFleur, none of these injuries are considered serious. Both Kraft and Zach Tom should be ready and good to go by the time camp starts. Although I'd put a pin in that. You never really know. I suspect the Packers, as they often do and almost always do, will be cautious coming back at the end of the summer, getting those guys back out on the field and participating in any real sense. I think they'll most likely take it slow, would be my guess. Dennis, searching for the greatest pec specialist in America. No doubt. Joe, what's up? MLF indicated that having starting QB at OTAs tends to attract others to be there. Huh. Oh, man. You see, I just got yelled at on Twitter about being obsessed with Aaron Rodgers, which I am not. But yes, people will make the inference and draw the conclusions and subtle jabs, what have you, etc. Man, all I know is I love that Aaron took the time off that he did while he was in Green Bay because it allowed Jordan Love all those reps with the ones. But yes, when Aaron was gone, a number of starters missed time as well, etc. I get it. I get the dynamics. But this is such a young team, such a hungry team. I can't imagine most of these guys deciding to stay away. It's a team that hasn't tasted much yet. They had a little taste of success last year, but any real sense of success, they haven't found that yet. I think they want to be there. And I think you've seen that kind of permeated throughout the entire roster, even with the vets, because the squad is so young. Got to get that work in, and they certainly seem to have been so far this offseason. Klaus, what's going on, man? I'm excited. Random almost Packer. Mr. T. Oh, Mr. T reference. Now we're kind of stretching the random Packer narrative here, but I like it. I like how you're working. Lambo Leo, what's up? Oh, torn pec meme on the way. I'm sure you won't be the only one, but yes, I look forward to it, sir. I have no doubt you will produce something pretty good. John Simitovich, what's going on? I only join live on days before you leave on trips now. Hope NOLA was great and Barca is fun. Are you having to stop by West London for an interview? That's a Chelsea reference. Well done. Yes, we're going to have our, fourth manager now since Boley took over? Lord. At least when, the Russian guy was firing people, it was after they won, a bunch of trophies sometimes. This crew can't even get through a season or two without letting people go. What else we got here, folks? Got my Bay motel room booked for the 49ers game. Can't wait to watch us get revenge. I'll be using Ticket King. There you go, Sigma. That's what I'm talking about. Ticket King's where it's at. That's what you want, man. Oh, Sideline Report has got some analytics for you people. Slide back, listen to the news. Packers win Super Bowls every 14 years. 1996, 2010, and 2024. I like where your head's at, man. Callum, how are you, man? Hope you're doing well. Callum asks, which game do you think will be the hardest game for the Packers this upcoming season? The first one. I mean, it's always the next one, really. It's always difficult to ramp up. That week one game is always a lot of unscouted looks. You throw in the fact that they're literally on another continent. Playing a team where they are also bringing in a lot of new pieces as far as schematically, play caller wise, etc. The Packers, all new defensive scheme, lots of new faces in new places. I think that game has a potential to be not only really tough, but a bit of a slop fest. Now look, who knows? Maybe they come out all pistons firing and they look amazing, and all that offseason work pays off. But I do think that's a very tough gig for both teams, really. But for the Packers to come out and look like a well-oiled machine is probably not very realistic. I do think, look, every week in the NFL is tough. The parity is so real and so kind of evident week in and week out. You can't take anyone for granted. There's no doubt that as the year goes on, we will see who's up there as far as our expectations go and how difficult they have been in the past, maybe meeting those expectations in 2024. You just look at the teams the Packers have had trouble with in the past. I mean, don't look any further than the San Francisco 49ers. At some point, they're like the Darth Vader to Jordan Love's Packers Skywalker, like they're not going to get where they want to go until they beat that team. And this year they get them at home. No better time to turn the tables there, narratively. Brandy, I hope you meet the European version of Corey, Nags. There has to be a doppelganger somewhere. I think we've seen a doppelganger of Corey once or twice throughout the years. One time it was actually at a game, but yeah, I'm sure somewhere along the line in Europe, it's got to be a Corey doppelganger somewhere, right? Dennis asks, "Do you and Pops argue?" Almost never. Back in the day, maybe really when I was a headstrong teenager, back then we may have had an argument or two, but as adults, never. Man, we're chill. He's the man who taught me a lot of ball game left. We'll enjoy our trip. It's gonna be a lot of fun. What else we got here, folks? Justin says, "My wife and I are going to Italy June 15th. Just missing you. Ships in the night. Enjoy your trip. I'm sure you guys will have a ball." Andrew, what's going on, man? All this peck talk and no hammy talk. Am I in the right chat? I kid. It happens, and I'm happy to see Packer Twitter handling it so calmly. Have a good trip. Give Camp Now a kiss for me. Go Pack, go. Yeah, I mean, it has been somewhat muted online as far as the responses to both Tucker Kraft and Zach Tom having the injuries they have, and hopefully, I think being back for training camp has subdued a lot of maybe the initial reactions that otherwise would have been there. But as I said to Billy a little earlier today, I do hold my breath a little bit, right? We'll see. We've certainly been down the road where guys are supposedly on track to come back and then they take a much longer time than expected. I mean, I'm just outside of David Bakhtiari, but he's a perfect example, right? And we've seen guys like, Kingsley Enagbare, who supposedly tore his ACL in the playoff game against Dallas and was out there today without a knee brace, no tear in sight. And as Matt LaFleur indicated, I think it was draft weekend, it was never confirmed that he had a torn ACL. So that's good. Hey, a little bit more edge depth than expected for the old green and gold defense. I'll take it, man. I will 1000% take it. Fascinated to see how Enagbare operates with his hand in the dirt as a 4-3 defensive end. That'll be something to kind of track throughout, obviously, the offseason, but certainly once the pads come on and they're really getting a little bit more physical action out there. I'm interested to see how he holds up in that regard. Dale, good evening from London. Good afternoon from New York City. Hope you're doing well, man. Abdul, thanks for the super chat. Hey, Aaron, have a great time on your trip and congrats on your daughter graduating. Thank you so much. How quickly does league go to 18 games? That's a excellent question. I am going to Google something right now just to get, or I'm not because my computer's going to freeze. But I believe it will be whenever the new CBA is agreed upon / negotiated. There's zero doubt that the NFL wants to get there ASAP. The move to 17 games was always just a precursor to 18. I can't remember exactly, especially since they did the kind of amended CBA during the pandemic, exactly how much longer we have in the current CBA. But there is zero doubt, and I mean zero doubt, that the NFL will do everything in its power to get that 18th game squared away in the next negotiation. I think, if I remember right, they amended it in 2020. But prior to that, was it 2018 where they had the 10 years? It was a 10-year CBA, and negotiations would undoubtedly start prior to the final year of that deal. So I would suspect in the next, what, 5, 6 years, whenever the CBA has run its course, that next CBA will include an 18th game. Mark it zero. It's going to happen. Ed, thanks for the super chat, man. I got nothing. Enjoy your trip. That's a perfect super chat. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Rai, what's up, man? Would the Packers have upset New England in the 2007 Super Bowl? We've talked about this before on this channel many, many times. I doubt it. I absolutely love the idea. I, no question about it, would have loved to have seen it, but I don't like their chances in that game. And I know people have got all sorts of reasons on one side or the other. Just gut feeling. I wouldn't have loved their chances heading into that contest. However, any given Sunday, you never really know. Did the injury have anything to do with Tucker's honeymoon? Congrats, Tucker. I know I saw you got married recently. Congrats to Tucker, Kraft, and Bride. Very, very fun. Dan, how are you? Thanks for the super chat, man. Random Packer, Gail Gillingham, one of the top 3 guards in Packer history. Absolutely. A man that was championed often by Bart Starr, especially kind of later on as chat about the Lombardi's Packers started to center on more and more like certain names, etc. Gillingham is somebody that maybe doesn't get probably the praise he absolutely should. Abdul, thanks again, man. Who do you think wears the green dot? McKinney, Walker, someone else? I suspect early on the best bet is McKinney. I think they'll probably play around with it depending on their packages and how often the personnel changes out and what, opponent wise, what numbers they're doing as far as how many snaps they're anticipating the linebacking group getting versus the safety group, etc. But I would suspect McKinney's going to be on the field every single play, as opposed to at linebacker. I think there's a good chance those guys are going to be subbed in and out dependent on down and distance, opponent, schematic stuff, etc. That's not to say that I think Quay Walker will play a lot. I think he'll play like 90% of the snaps probably. But I would suspect McKinney is going to be the down in and down out your stalwart, so to speak, and will most likely be charged with wearing the green dot, being the communication with the sideline. Craig, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. What exactly do they do during OTAs? That's an excellent question. Well, they can get into competitive stuff at this point. Prior to the OTAs beginning, they could only work in individual groups. Even at phase 1, they're not even allowed to be on the football field. It's strictly classroom and working out. Phase 2, which is they've just come out of, is you're allowed to put your helmet on, you run out on the field, but you're only allowed to be in groups, like your positional group, like the defensive line does all their work together and corners, etc. Now this week, start of OTAs, you can start doing a little bit more. You can do 7. They did 7-on-7 today. You can do 11-on-11, though I didn't see any particular reports about that today, although there's been plenty of video from other camps about teams doing full team 11-on-11 work. None of it is obviously full speed. You're certainly not really being physical or tackling or etc. You're trying to work on technique, though that's pretty difficult in the trenches. But now you're starting to get some of that classwork you've done and put it together as far as mixing the pieces, right? Putting the protection, the offensive line together with the route running and putting the stuff together. Though, like I said today, surprisingly, the Packers worked on 7-on-7, something that Matt in the past has talked about how much he dislikes it because it's not real football. It's not a real gauge of the team working together. Though I think it was Andy, shout out to Andy Herman, who asked him about that. Like, you said in the past you didn't like this, and then now out today you're out there doing 7-on-7. And I did like Matt's answer. He talked about, I don't, and he said, let me make it clear, I don't like it. But the one thing they wanted to emphasize was the footwork between the quarterback and the receivers. And that certainly helps in that regard because you're just dropping from the pocket, you're running your routes, everyone's footwork has to marry up. That's the idea. And you're not really paying attention to the rush or worrying about, oh, this guy slipped or missed his block or whatever. You're just working on the footwork. So I like that. I like the idea of like drilling down on the fundamentals, especially for a group that is still very young. You want to get that in their body, so to speak. So I hope that somewhat answers your question. Raymond, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. I swear the amount of hype I've been forced to see on Caleb Williams is disgusting. Random Packer Jake Kumaro. I like how you have no punctuation in there for me to know when you're stopping a thought and then starting a new one. Jake Kumaro, Packers legend, really. Now, are you forced, as you say, to see the Caleb Williams hype, or are you choosing to be online? Because he is the first overall pick. I understand it's the Bears and they suck, and how many quarterbacks are they going to go through until we stop talking about it? I understand all that, but he's the first pick in the draft. Yeah, he's going to get hyped. That's just the gig, man. There's not much you can do about that other than perhaps turning off the internet, going outside. I don't know. Or maybe, I don't know, reading some Dickens, go see a play. So many ways you could do this, dude. But, you know, if you're online and you're in NFL circles, you're probably going to see it. Gaston asks, how's the kickers looking? We don't have an update on the kickers. I believe Bill Huber joked with Matt LaFleur, who seemed to indicate that this wasn't really a joke, that they couldn't even see the kickers. No initial reporting on anything having to do with any of the specialists, other than I believe Waylon looked like he was skying the punts, but no initial time on the kickers. Good enough. What's up? I've heard European soccer leagues have great chants/song/crowd engagement. Any chance Cheesehead TV could coordinate some new chants to get Lambeau rowdy? That's so funny you asked that. I have talked to David Bakhtiari about this in the past, about the atmosphere at these European matches, right? And how great a lot of these chants are. I'd love this. It would require us being in the bowl, though, right, during games. And, you know, we do our watch parties for people around the country and around the world who can't be there. That's kind of our whole reason around this whole YouTube thing. So maybe at some point, maybe we could put up some kind of instructional video and have people bring that and hopefully get it going. I love it. I'll never, ever forget when I watched the Packers and 49ers here in New York down at St. Mark's Place at a bar that's no longer there. But they used to show Packers games each and every week. This is like when I first moved to the city. And there was an English dude there rooting for the Packers who, and this is when Terrell Owens was on the 49ers, and he started to chant in the bar, Terrell Owens is illegitimate. He ain't got no birth certificate. And we just sang that the whole song, the whole game. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, we need some of that at Lambeau. That'd be phenomenal. John Simitovich, what's going on, man? Thanks for the super chat. How was Kingfish? Go Pacers. Go Pack Go. Always got to get the Pacers thing in there. I mean, the Pacers, wow, what a run, overcoming two of the most injured teams in the league. However, did they do it? Good luck against the Celtics. How was Kingfish? Kingfish was fucking religious, man. Unbelievable. If you get a chance to check out this guy, what a guitar player. Amazing, amazing blues music. I was in heaven. It was phenomenal at the New Orleans Jazz Fest. Incredible player. It was the most emotive guitar playing I've heard since Prince, and I do not say that lightly. It was incredible. Absolutely incredible. All right, everybody, I'm going to have to get going. I cannot thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Happy hours at the top of the hour. If you're a Patreon member, if you're Carry the G Club member, make sure you check your respective pages. The information is there. 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Lambeau. Come, keep talking. Keep it up, man. We're going to be talking Packers for an hour. It's going to be a lot of fun. In the meantime, please do me a monster favor. Hit like on this video and then come back and hit like on it again because I'm going to be gone for the next week or so. Please keep checking out our content. We'll be having lots of fun stuff here on the YouTube channel, on the website, newsletters going out. Sign up for the newsletter. Cheesehead Nation goes out Thursday morning each and every week during the off season. We'll have 2 a week once the season starts, but do it. Sign up. You get all great Cheesehead TV content around everything going on with the green and gold each and every week and twice a week once the season starts. Do it, people. I'll see you guys on happy hour. Thanks so much. I'll see you in a couple, 2-3 days after I get back. Can't wait. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good night. Go Pack, go.